So, good morning, my dear students. Hope you remember me. Okay, I think I've given you some two classes on the importance of English language. I think my first class was on importance of English, especially with the scientific subjects, and then the importance of English language. Right? Okay. Now, today I'm here with the first class on one of the subjects, one of the important subjects other than your core subjects. I'm here with my first class in English. So this is my English class number 1, and today I'm going to just give you introduction to what I'm going to study here. If you remember my last session that I did during your bridge course, in the last part of my discussion I told you that there are 2 books that are being prescribed by the board. Okay, so the first book is nothing but articulation. Okay, as the name itself suggests, articulation. This is nothing but your what? Your book. Yes, you have all the concepts that have been designed by the board that will be asked for your examination, and you have been given your workbook. The moment I say workbook, it is nothing but your grammar, so to say, the grammar. Okay, so all the things that have been covered, or the concepts or the syllabus that is being given by the board, everything related to the grammar contains in articulation. Clear? Okay. And on the other hand, you have another book which I had told you, that is nothing but reflections. So this is the language, the literature book. If I say that as a language book, that is articulation, this will act as a literature book. So, hope you have got all these books with you ready. So, you have the pair of books already with you. So, reflections is nothing but on the literature aspects of the language, and articulation is nothing but on the articulation is on the part with the language. English is a language there. So the basic difference is nothing but the difference is grammar, literature. Grammar, literature. That's what you have to understand. So in this book, you actually are going to study different pieces of work, whether it could be a poem or a short play, okay, or it could be an essay, it could be an interview. So something related to the literature is being given in this text. Okay, and each of the unit in the book follows with a little bit discussion on the grammar, which has to be discussed in the class. And the moment whatever you have learned it, you will have to apply that in the articulation book, and we will do it once we start, going further and further in terms of discussing both the texts. All right. Okay. Now today I'm just going to give you an introduction, and that introduction, before I could start, I feel that probably first let me discuss the question paper pattern so that you can plan your studies accordingly. Okay, so the pre-university education 11th class, that is first year PUC, the question paper would be coming from the board, which will comprise or what kind of things that does it cover. So that is what I am going to learn, or that's what I am going to discuss today, so that you can learn or you can plan accordingly. Okay, so first of all, understand that the subject code of English is 02. So that's the subject code, and as I said, you have 2 books to comprehend or to study with respect to grammar and literature. Okay, so when you actually talk about the type of the question paper pattern or something, you might have gone through, or you may look for the model question papers that are available on internet, whether it could be on PU website itself or maybe from any other websites. Okay, so before you could have, probably you go and search model papers after looking at this video or after watching me with the discussion here, because today I'm going to discuss the question paper pattern. Okay, on the outset, understand that subject code is 02, and you, as I said, you have 2 books One on articulation, the other one on reflection. So the weightage is equal. Okay, your maximum marks of the question paper is restricted for 100 marks. You have the time limit of 3 hours and 15 minutes to answer it. Okay, so both the textbooks follow or carry equal marks. So when I say equal marks, it is both the books are given utmost importance. Why? Because you have to give the importance to both the text, that is to this book as well as to the articulation. Why? Because at the time of examination you would be asked the questions from both the texts equally. So if I have to tell you about the form or the model of the question paper, maybe it will be easier for you to comprehend in the further classes, or maybe you can plan your own studies in the way that you have been doing. Okay, so let us discuss something about the question paper and the model question papers. If you don't find it anywhere else, it is very clearly given in your textbook only. So if you go to page number 121 in your reflections textbook, you have 2 different model question papers, out of which one is what I am going to discuss it today. All right. So what are the things that you have considered so far? So you have 2 different books for this course, and you have reflections on one hand and you have articulation on the other. Reflection is relating to the English as literature, and articulation is in terms of English as language. The subject code that you are going to appear for this English examination subject is 02, and the time duration that is allowed for you people to write this paper is 3 hours and 15 minutes, and maximum marks that you are going to answer this question is for 100 marks. Okay, so these things should be in your mind, and one more important thing is that both the texts are given the equal weightage. They have been given the equal weightage. So this book comes for 50 marks and that book comes for 50. So 50 plus 50 is how they have taken into consideration. So when a question paper is set, it will be set according to following these rules or following these instructions, like 50 from here, 50 from there. Clear? Okay. So if you have the textbook with you, you can just have a look into it. So before writing any examination or something, I would definitely advise you to read the instructions before attempting the answers. All right. So you have been given, and the first thing that starts here is nothing but on literature. The first, second and third main questions are from this book. All right. So keep those things in your mind. So in the first main, you are supposed to answer the questions in a word or in a phrase or in a sentence. So you might have heard of one word questions or 1 mark questions, so to say. So the first main question is not with a choice. You will be asked 12 questions and you will have to answer all the 12 questions. Okay, so in order to answer these questions, one must definitely have a very serious reading of the whole textbook. Line to line, paragraph to paragraph, whatsoever, you should have a very serious reading of the text. Like for example, if you have a prose or something, okay, in prose the question may be asked from any part of the text. Okay, ultimately the answer given in the text will hold the same. So that is why what I want you to practice from first year itself is nothing but that you should accustom yourself to the text. Okay, so whatever that you are going to read and write or study or comprehend, it should be on par with the textbook that you actually have. So first main, 12 questions will be asked. All 12 questions must be answered. There is no choice here, and you will have to answer those questions in 1 word or in a sentence or in a phrase. Okay, so 1 into 12 is equal to 12. Clear? So that is about the first main in the question paper. right? Then coming on to the second main in the question paper, the second main question and answers are actually the short answers, so to say. When I say short answers, it is nothing but answering the following questions that have been given. I am talking about the second main. Okay. So, answer the following questions in about 80 to 100 words is what it says. Okay. Answer any 8 of the following, choosing at least 2 from poetry in a paragraph of about 80 to 100 words. So, when this question goes here, most of us fail to understand this instruction, what is given in the question. So, second main totally it will have 10 questions, okay, and you are supposed to answer 8 of them. So, 2 will be your choice or options for you, but while selecting or while answering the questions, you should see to it that you will have to answer at least, or you will have to attempt at least 2 questions from poems that you study. Getting? While answering the questions in the second main, okay, second main, the moment I say second main, it is nothing but short answers. That is, you are supposed to answer in one paragraph somewhere about 80 to 100 minimum words. Okay. While doing so, you have to see to it that at least 2 questions from the poems that you have studied are attempted here. Getting? So, what do you do? So, 10 are there. Out of 10, you are going to answer any 8, and each question carries 4 marks. Getting? So, 8 into 4 is 32, isn't it? So, 8 into 4 is 32. So, you are just going to answer those questions in a paragraph of about 80 to 100 words, and keeping the thing in your mind that you have at least attempted 2 questions from poetry, and rest 6 questions can be chosen from the prose or plays or whatsoever that we do. Am I clear? So, 12 plus 32, isn't it? The first main is 1 into 12, that is 12 marks. Okay. Second main is actually 4 marks into 8 questions. So, 8 4s are 32. Okay. 2 questions are choice here. Here you do not have any choice, and when you come to the third main, it is actually a long answer. So, this is, let me just write it on the brackets here, short answers. Okay, and 80 to 100 words is your limit. Okay, and be very careful about choosing those 2 questions. It will be given to you in the question paper itself, don't need to panic. Okay, but see to it that you have that thing in your mind. Okay, when you come to the third, this is actually a long answer question, long answer. So, the word limit here is, I think, 200 words it is. Yes. 200 words. Okay. Three questions are given in the form of A, B or C. Okay. So, you have choice here with the second and the third main. Okay. So, here while answering this question, you should see to it that this is a question that is asking you to answer in the form of description. So, you are going to make use of at least or minimum 200 words, okay, and then answer this question by choosing question number A or B or C according to your comfortability or according to your own preparation. So, this question is you asked for 6 marks. Okay. So, 12 plus 32 is 44 plus 6 is 50. So, that completes the literature book. Getting? So, see to it that the very first main short answer, I'm sorry, not short answer, one word or a phrase or just a sentence is enough for this. But you do not have a choice. All 12 have to be attempted, and if you attempt all 12 correctly, you will be getting 12 marks out of it. So, the answers will demand just a sentence or a phrase or maybe a word, maybe just a word. So, you can just write it in a word or maybe a phrase or maybe a sentence. When you come to second main, here you have a choice. 10 questions are asked, only 8 has to be answered. And out of this 8, see to it that 2 from poems are selected and 6 maybe from the other part of the prose or play or whatever that we do. And when you come to the third main here, third main, the first only one question is supposed to be answered, but it will be asked with 3 different questions, like question number A, OR B or OR C. Okay, so you have a choice here, you can select any one of the things. Word limit is 200 words and then you will have to answer it at least 200 words, in at least 200 words with respect to whatever is your preparation. I hope I am clear with this. So, this completes your 12 plus 32 plus 6, 50 marks. Am I clear? Okay, so this is something on the literature book that you actually have. So, this is all comes from reflections. So, when you study, when you plan reflections, you can plan it in this way, because this will actually help you to plan out your studies accordingly. Okay. So, first, second and third main from the text reflections. That is what you got to understand. Okay. Now, let us come to the other text. What is the other text that we have? Articulation. So, when you come to the other text, so called the workbook, you have to see to it that the rest 50 marks are from the other book, that is from your articulation. Okay. So, let us continue. Question number 4, we stopped there for main question number 3, right? So, first one word, short answer, long answer. So, this is the fourth main, and fourth main is nothing but comprehension. Comprehension of a passage will be given to you. The passage will be either a descriptive, statistical, narrative, anything it could be, or a description, anything it could be. Okay. So, the unseen passage, I think in your 10th you might have studied under study the following unseen passage or something like that, isn't it? So, here a comprehension for a passage has been given here, and all WH questions, what, why, where, when and how. These are the questions that will be asked, and the questions on vocabulary will also be asked, like, what is the antonym of this word, or what is the synonym of this word. Okay, what is the prefix or what could be the suffix form, identify the homophone or identify the homonym or something. Don't worry about all those questions, we will do it in a class in a relaxed manner. Don't worry about all that. I am just giving you only the gist here so that you can understand the question paper pattern. Okay. So, fourth question will be on the comprehension, and it will be asked to you for 10 marks. There are different ways of comprehending a text that we will be doing it when we take up this comprehension part. Alright. So, question number 4 again on 10 marks. So far we have completed 60 marks out of 100, isn't it? So, there are 40 marks remaining, for which I will just discuss the other things. Clear? Alright. Now, let us come to question number 5. Alright. So, question number 5 is actually on all your questions of grammar are included here, all the questions on your grammar. For example, fifth main, question number A is on articles and prepositions. You might have done this in your 10th, like a passage is given with certain blanks in it, and you will have to read that passage and write it with the providing or with giving a proper article or a preposition, whatever that the question demands. So, this will be again for 4 marks. So, you will have to complete that passage, or you will have to fill in those blanks that are given in the short paragraph, either with an article or with the preposition. Okay. Now, the very important aspect that I would like to tell you here is that the passages that will be selected for these types of the questions will be from the text only. For example, there is a first unit in your reflections book, that is the Gentleman of the Jungle. Okay. So, there is the first unit that you have, and it is actually a descriptive prose that we will be studying, or that we will be doing it in my next class. So, the Gentleman of the Jungle. So, you read it in terms of paragraphs, right. So, a same paragraph will be asked here only. So, at that time what I would request or advise you to do is that you should have a thorough reading of the textbook, both for literature as well as for the grammar. Okay. Who knows, maybe a question, maybe a paragraph has been selected from the Gentleman of the Jungle only, and that would be asked here. So, at that time you should be having a thorough study of the textbook that is given there. Clear? So, articles and prepositions is asked, and you will have to answer it by choosing the correct article or a preposition that it requires. Okay. Then coming on to the B. These articles will be given to you in the brackets only. So, you can choose it. It will be given to you in the brackets, and you got to just choose it how exactly the text is all about or something, if it is a passage from a text only. Then coming on to question number B under 5th main, you actually have fill in the blanks with the right form of the verb given in the bracket. Right form of the verb. I think you have done similar questions in your 10th as well. So, verb is given and you got to understand the tense first. So, how do you do it? You know it better. Okay, we will do it in the class also once we start the workbook. Okay. So, a question on completing the following paragraph by choosing the right form of the verb given in the bracket. So, again I think that is asked for 4 marks. Okay, completing the following passage again by choosing the right form of the verb that is given in their brackets. So, there are verbs that will be given in the bracket. You got to choose the correct form of that verb and complete the passage or the paragraph given accordingly. Okay, so that's again for 4 marks. Then question number C. Okay, under the heading 5th main. So, under 5th main, the question number C is nothing but subject verb agreement. I think, have you done this exercise before? Like, subject verb agreement. Subject verb agreement. The subject is given there and that subject has to agree with the verb. 2 and 2 is 4 or 2 and 2 are 4. Example I am giving you. 2 and 2 is 4 or 2 and 2 are 4. Subject verb agreement. So, we will do those exercises similarly in the class once we start with that. And again this question is asked to you for 4 marks. I am sorry, not for 4, but it is for 3 marks. So, you will have to answer the subject verb agreement questions for 3 blanks or maybe for 3 different questions. That is what you got to do. Clear? Subject verb agreement. What is it? We will do it in the class. Don't worry about that. Then question number D under 5th main. What you are going to do here under 5th main, question number D, is nothing but correction of sentences. Correction of sentences. I think this question again you will have to have 2 marks for this. So, there are 2 sentences which have been given with some errors in that question. You will have to find out that error, or you will have to rewrite the wrong sentence into the correct form by maybe choosing a preposition or an article, or maybe a subject verb agreement, or maybe punctuation, anything for that matter. So, read the question, identify the error and rewrite in the form of a correct sentence. So, that will be again for 2 marks. Okay. So, 4 plus 4 and 5. So far we have done. Just make a note of it, or if you are not doing it, no problem, but you have everything there. So, I am just giving you a brief idea about what could be the question paper pattern. Okay. Then on question number E, on the same main E, rewrite as directed. So, what happens here is that a question is given and you have been directed to do so. For example, give the antonym of this word. So, a question is given, in the similar way you have been asked, or you have been directed to do what you are supposed to do. So, this will be asked to you for 6 marks. So, there will be 6 different questions to understand or to write exactly how you are directed by the question. You may be asked to choose the correct word, you may be asked to write a correct preposition or anything of that sort. You may be asked to write a question tag. Questions will be like that, but do not worry, you will be given a direction to do what you are supposed to do with the question in the question paper itself. So, that is rewrite as directed. Okay. Then question number, then we will come to 6th main here. Under 6th main, your note making and note taking skills are asked. Okay. Either you are supposed to make a note, or either you are supposed to make a, you have to take a note or something. So, writing skills, so to say. Okay. So, under writing skills, what you are supposed to do is that, like, there is a schedule of a train and its journey, or there is a schedule of a TV program with different dates and times or something is given, and you will have to make the notes accordingly. So, this question is asked to you, like, note making or note taking, and I think this question is asked to you for 4 marks. So, what you are going to do here is that you are just going to either make a note, or either you are going to take a note of whatever the things that is asked. So, a TV schedule, a train journey, whatever, like, all those things. Then that is A under question number 6, and B is nothing but your letter writing. So, letter writing here, it could be any form of the letter that would be asked to you, and you will have to just write a official letter, so to say, and it will be asked to you for 5 marks. Okay. So, when you are doing so, this question number 6, writing skills, either note making or note taking will be question number 1, and a letter writing will be on writing skills. So, you will be asked to you about 4 plus 5, 9 marks on that particular question. Then 7th main, question here is nothing but match the expressions. Here, match the expression, when I say, you will be given the questions here accordingly in such a way that, looking at a column A, you will have to write the corresponding column with matching it. Nothing but match the following you have done. In the similar way, you have been given, or you will be given here the questions on matching the expressions according to what they give you the idea on. Like, for example, can I come in? So, it is a asking permission, isn't it, in that way. So, what all the things that I will do it in the class once I start it, but the question here is again for 5 marks. So, this would be asked to you for 5 marks, the question, and then you have this is Question number 7th A will be on the expressions and their functions. For example, how do you do? How do you do? What is it? Is it introducing, disagreeing, requesting, something like that? Don't worry about that. That I'll do it in the class when I actually start. So 7th main A is that. B is dialogue writing. Dialogue writing, this will be asked to you for 4 marks. And C, the last question on 7th main is actually on a dialogue writing. This is dialogue completion, okay. Completing the dialogue and then dialogue writing. So dialogue writing will come to you for 3 different marks, okay. So let me just tell you if you have covered some 50 marks out of it. 10 plus 4, 14, and 4, 18 plus 3, 21, 23. So 23 plus 6, 29, 29 plus 4, 33, 38, okay, and then 43, 47, 50. So when you are attempting all the answers on the articulation, this could be a brief idea to understand the questions that will be asked. Okay. So you start your answering your question on articles from the 4th main. Remember that 1st, 2nd, 3rd main will go to reflections. When you come to articulations, your questions will actually start from the 4th main from your question paper. And under 4th main, what are the questions that would be asked are these things. Okay. So the first question that you are going to attempt is on comprehension. Comprehension of a passage that will be given to you. You are going to do it for 10 marks, and then you come to 5th main, under which question on articulation, articles or prepositions would be asked. Right form of the verb given in the bracket and subject verb agreement, then correction of sentences. Okay. For 8 plus 3, 11 plus 2, 13 marks under this section. Article writing, subject verb agreement, and write the correct form of the verb given in the bracket, and correction of sentences. So these are the 4 things that come under 5th main. Then you have something like, rewrite as directed. 13 plus 6, 19 marks are from this section here. So in order to understand, answer the questions, you will be given the instructions in the question itself, and you will have to do it according to what the question is directing you to do. So examples are antonym, synonym, homonym or a homophone, question tag, question word, reference to whom it is made, underlined words. All these questions will come under rewrite as directed. Active, passive voice or direct, indirect speech, anything it could be. Okay. So don't worry about all those things. Then come on to the question number 6 main. You have 2 sub questions here. That is, one is on note making skills or note taking skills. The other one is on letter writing. Can you follow it, all of you? All right. So note making or note taking. Note making or note making will be 4, and letter writing will be for 5 marks. And then you will come to 7th main, where you have 3 sub questions. The first question is something on match the following with their proper expressions. Okay. Get out, for example. That's nothing but an order, isn't it? In that way. So match the expressions with the concepts that have been with the situation that is given in the question paper. So that will be for 5 marks. And then you have 2 different tasks. One is the completion of a dialogue, and the second one is writing of a dialogue. So completion, hints are given in the question itself. When you are making a question on dialogue completion, hints are given in the question only, but here dialogue writing, a situation is given to you in the question paper. Understand what is the situation, and then you start writing the conversation. So how do you normally write a conversation? So there will be 2 speakers, and you just name speaker 1, speaker 2, or name if it is given in the question paper, and then you will have to think of a situation, and then what could they talk? How will be the conversation? So that completes your 100 marks on your question paper. Clear? So this is just an idea for you people how marks are allocated, how marks are divided into two different texts, number one, and then further how they have been divided into two different concepts or the things that we are supposed to do it. Clear? So this is my just an introduction class on question paper pattern. So I just wanted you people to know the pattern of the question paper first, and then we will go to the text probably from my next class. So if you have not bought, please see to it that you have both the text ready with you, both reflection as well as articles. So if you have reflections ready with you for my tomorrow's class, I would straight away start off with the first unit that we have in reflections, that is the Gentleman of Jungle. It's actually a very nice, very good prose with respect to the colonization that we had in India by the author. Okay, so let us see that. Let us discuss about the the Gentleman of the Jungle. That is the first unit that you actually have by Jomo Kenyatta. Okay, the author. So what all the things that I'll do it in my next class, but see to it that anything that you haven't understood or whatever, just as I said on your page number 121 on your reflections textbook, this model question paper is given. So whatever I have discussed now here, you can once again cross check and then take into a final pattern should be there in your mind with the question paper. Okay, so once you are through with it, once you are aware of all these things, how different, what are the two different texts, how the marks are divided, and how further they are divided into concept wise or in the unit wise or something, it will give you a clear picture to prepare for the examination. Clear? So I hope you all have understood whatever I have discussed in my class today, and from tomorrow let us straight away start the text itself. So thank you very much for attending, and please cross check once again with the model papers that have been given in your textbook or maybe on the website. Thank you so much.